American people deserve so much better than this.
If you want depression, doom, and despair, vote for Sleepy Joe Biden.
He gets his photo op and then gets out.
Nobody likes me. It can only be my personality, that's all.
Donald Trump, coming from behind in this race, as he now is pretty clearly, he needs to get his base out in sufficient numbers and in the right places to offset what looks like a Biden surge. So he's particularly interested in Florida. He also needs to watch his back in Texas. And in both of those cases, particularly Texas, you might have thought that was safe territory for him. It's turned out not to be so. So he really needs his support to come out pretty much to the max if he's to see off Joe Biden.
The proud people of Texas will never bow, kneel, or surrender to the left-wing mob. You will always stand tall and strong for America.
Joe Biden also needs to target Florida. There's no way round Florida. It's a really interesting state. It has a lot of retirees from other parts of the US who tend to be white, older, quite prosperous, and a lot of them went for Trump in 2016. So Joe Biden needs to persuade people like that to come back to him, as well as his more progressive base. He needs to work on the Midwest. The Midwest is a big swathe of places that went for Trump in 2016. A lot of them are that blue-collar, working-class vote. Can Joe Biden get them back where Hillary Clinton kind of lost them? Early voting could have an immense impact on this election. For a start, it appears that those who voted early voted by a clear margin for Joe Biden. But we also know that, of course, this is happening in a time of pandemic, that voter registration is flawed in many parts of the US to start with, and that to an extent that is being gamed often by supporters of Donald Trump. So there is, I think, a lot of wriggle room here for him not going quietly and saying that those votes that were mailed in and those early votes were in some way could be delegitimized. That is what a lot of people are predicting. I've just been interviewing John Bolton, the former national security advisor who turned against Trump this week. He thinks something like that is quite likely to happen. Of course, it depends on the margin. If it's a tub-thumping Biden victory, it won't matter. If it's tighter, it could well matter.
Mr. President, who did you vote for today?
I voted for a guy named Trump.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Trump is a fighter, and that shows really in the way that he fought through 2016 and overturned establishment expectations as he would have seen them, that he would be a loser. He hates to be a loser. It's a phrase that he often uses. I think he's tetchy, and you can see it in things like walking out of the CBS 60 Minutes interview, clearly in a bad mood and in a bad temper about being pressed. Having said that, people who've attended his rallies tell me that it's still the grand guignol. You know, he's joking. He comes on to macho man. He's enjoying it. He loves campaigning. He's a formidable campaigner. And for all the many flaws and dangers of Donald Trump, you have to understand that he is really an enemy to be taken seriously. He's probably a better campaigner than Joe Biden if you're simply looking at his ability to hold a crowd. But I think he knows he's on the back foot. He knows that it kind of takes a miracle at this stage to get him back into the lead, and he's prepared to use any available means to get there. So I would not count him out until the last moment, even though the probability is running very strongly against him.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
I think Donald Trump could be one of the big political victims of the coronavirus, so to speak. It's hard to make a case that Donald Trump has handled coronavirus particularly well. It's much easier to make a case that by, in a way, underweighting his role as president and the role of the center and everything that he commanded, potentially in Washington, D.C., he could have made a big difference. I think that has got through to voters, and not only to those who are on the left and don't like him anyway. So I think coronavirus may be the difference between a Trump victory and a Trump defeat. It's really the part of his record, in his terms, that he struggles most, I think, to come up with any form of defense for.